Okay, so, machen wir da ein bisschen weiter. Ich weiß nicht, wie lang. Mal schauen. Zieht sich irgendwie ein bisschen. Auf was hättet denn ihr mehr Lust? Iges oder Teddy? Mal schnell kurz ein Poll. Iges.
This is a space that only those who have, in one way or another, entered into a contract may enter. In your daily life, you subconsciously heard the call to awaken, and you chose to follow the destiny
So, bitte mal
of
schnell
your voice, thereby enacting your glorious awakening to your power.
Währenddessen hole ich mir mal schnell kurz was zu trinken, beziehungsweise fülle meine Flasche mal schnell auf. Bin dann gleich wieder da. So, da bin ich wieder. Iges eine Stimme. Okay. Teddy keine Stimme. Dann machen wir mit Iges weiter. Ups! Nein, 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 nein. Keine neue Story anfangen.
Welcome to the Velvet Room.
Iges.
This place exists.
Very well.
Okay. Jetzt weiß ich nicht, ob wir da hier weitermachen oder ob wir erst in das nächste Kapitel gehen müssen, um was Neues zu haben. Mal schnell schauen. I follow the path formed by the invisible walls. Eventually I climbed the stairway to the third floor. There seems to be no walls here allowing me to go as I please. I can tell the end is near, and so I prepare myself. So I stand in front of a room that has a sign outside saying announcement room. The doors are half opened. I can sense someone inside. Press up against the door and peek around it. There's an announcement room as the sign indicates, but the space inside is much larger than the classrooms I have seen. The equipment here is also closer to that of a TV studio than what would be found in a school. On top of that, the back wall is made of glass, showing a view that is clearly not a schoolyard. Taken together, this is the first distinct sign that this is not the real world. As I expected, Labras is here, standing in the middle of the room. There's also another boy and girl as well. The girl is holding Labras' shoulders, and the boy stands in front of the pair, protecting them. Across from them is General Teddy. It seems this is the end of the line. I've seen that boy's face in the video. Yosuke Hanamura-san, I believe. I am not familiar with the girl's face, but I do recognize her distinctive voice. It's the same voice that has been commentating on the fights along with General Teddy on the school PA. From the tone of the commentating, I thought she was working with the general, but right now she seems to be on Yosuke-san and Labrys' side. I recall what Chie-san told me. Chie-san said that Rize-san was originally their friend, in which case she may actually be another victim. Diese Charakter eigentlich die Story selber? Aus ihrer Perspektive, ja. General Teddy gives a cruel smile, squints his eyes and speaks.
What a shame. You gave it a try, but there's no way anyone would understand you.
Ist es laut genug?
Huh?
Ich hoffe, es ist laut genug. General Teddy's voice and tone have undergone a remarkable change. Listening closely to his voices, so it finally reveals its true form.
At least one of them has to understand how I feel. Isn't that what you thought?
Etwas leise, okay.
The important part is that it's all your fault. That's not true. You still refuse to remember? Look at me and stop deluding yourself.
Das kennen wir schon, oder? Ich überspring's mal. Das haben wir, glaube ich, schon ein paar Mal gesehen.
I am a shadow. The true self.
No way. That's... She has my face.
But the face is the only thing that is the same. The rest of the body is covered in metal. There is no doubt that it is man-made. Labrys lets out a short scream and backs up.
Stop! I'm not like that!
Calm down. It's just taking that form to agitate you.
Yasuke is frantically trying to calm a confused Labrys. It's just taking that form to agitate you. That's what he says, but is that really the case? I have my own suspicions.
No! 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 No!
Taking that form, huh? Well, you have a point. I do have the power to confuse people's senses, warp what they're seeing, twist what they're hearing.
That's how you made my senpai fight each other!
Of the things you're seeing right now, which do you think is real and which is fake?
The former General Teddy. No, Labrys' shadow breaks out into a grin. Labrys meanwhile is crying in fear as she holds onto Yosuke's sleeve.
No! I'm not like you! I'm human, aren't I?
Huh? What do you mean?
I can see that Yosuke does not know how to answer the sudden question.
And how did I come to have these special powers? Why, it's because I have them.
With that, the shadow snaps its fingers. At once, static like that on a poorly tuned TV starts appearing around Labrys and slowly envelops her. I enhance my vision. Nothing is happening to Labrys' body. It was my own vision that was clouded, or had been until now. Soon after the noise dissipates, an inhuman-looking girl is standing in her place.
Huh? A robot?
Metallic arms and legs extend from her uniform. Thrusters on her back spread like wings. It's just as I thought, her body is identical to that of the shadow in front of her.
Look, that's what she really looks like. It's her who's been deceiving you all from the start. Not only you, but herself too. She really thinks that she's a human living a normal life at school. To reinforce her make-believe as real, she prevented herself from accessing any memories that could contradict that.
Eigentlich im Endeffekt alles so Zeug, das man eigentlich schon kennt.
Sealed away her own name.
No! Stop! Why are you doing this?
Kindly hurry up and remember me.
Soll ich das lieber überspringen?
It's pretty rude of you to even forget your own name.
Oder trotzdem weiterlesen und so
I
weiter?
don't want to remember!
Ich glaube im Endeffekt, auch mit den anderen Charakteren, ist halt, zumindest in der Situation, wo wir gerade sind, Im Endeffekt alles gleich. Außerhalb von einer anderen Perspektive und so weiter. The shadow grins evilly and swings the enormous axe at Labrys, or actually at Yosuke-san.
Yosuke-senpai!
Paar neu zuschaut, aber stimmt auch wieder, ja. Before the axe can complete its arc, I'm already in action. I must intervene. Neither Labrys, in shock at seeing her true form, nor Yosuke-san or Rizu-san are prepared for the attack.
What the?
I deflect the strike with the metallic part of my arm. It was heavier than I anticipated. Battle axe is a giant lump of metal that blocks most of my vision.
A girl? Wait, you're a robot too?
I turn my head to Labrys and look straight into her shocked eyes.
You must remember, that is the only way the future will open up to you. You must accept it, no matter how painful it may be.
I tell her her name in a clear voice. Her official name, which includes something no human has, a model number.
Your true name is 5th generation anti-shadow suppression weapon, Labrys.
Labrys quivers violently as if an invisible arrow had pierced her chest. Aber ja, im Endeffekt ist es eigentlich das Gleiche.
Labrys?
Labrys murmurs a name to herself. Her head hangs lifelessly as she stares at her mechanical limbs. The shock slowly drains from her pale face, replaced with bitter comprehension. Across from us, the shadow stares at me with a piercing, mocking stare.
That body. You can't be.
I am the same as you. 7th generation anti-shadow suppression weapon, Aegis. I am the model that came after you.
Are you here to seize her? I won't let you. Not when I'm almost free.
The shadow turns to its double and cries out impatiently.
Tell her, Labrys. Or do you want to be caught and locked in a cramped little box again?
Her eyes wander in search of something to settle on and eventually fixate on Yosuke, though he is still in shock and unable to speak in the heat of the moment. That moment of silence is enough to shatter any hope of a peaceful resolution. Labrys smiles lifelessly and hangs her head.
No, don't get me wrong. I was just a little surprised.
No, it's okay. That's how a normal person would react.
Wo ist deine Frage? Hast du eine Frage, Reed? Bei mir wird gerade nichts angezeigt. Welche Frage meinst du denn? A sad, weak voice makes my heart ache.
I won't let you take her back. I will gain my freedom, whatever it takes.
Suddenly, the shadow fires its arm out. A long chain trails from behind it that wraps itself around Labrys many times over. The shadow begins to pull her in with its winch. Unable to struggle, Labrys is dragged over to her captor, who lifts her over its shoulder. The shadow then runs full speed out of the announcement room. It fled with such explosive velocity that it is hard to believe it was carrying its own weight.
Wait!
I give chase. It's unfortunate that I cannot explain the situation to Yosuke-san, but I have no choice. Okay, das ist jetzt wieder anders als mit dem Hauptcharakter. I exit into the hallway and see the shadow make for the stairway leading up. Charakter. Your story says. Ja, wird angezeigt. Also im Overlay sehe ich über dem Test etwas leise. Ja, also jeder Charakter erzählt die allgemeine Geschichte aus deren eigener Perspektive. Haben halt vorher und danach ein bisschen eigene Geschichte auch. wo die anderen Charaktere nicht dabei sind. Nicht unbedingt. Und ja. Also jeder erzählt sozusagen die gleiche Geschichte aus der eigenen Perspektive. Im Hauptteil zumindest. Bloß anscheinend ein bisschen ändert sich's auch. Also zum Beispiel die Situation, dass die andere jetzt, glaube ich, die andere entführt und rausrennt, die hat man bei der anderen Route mit dem anderen Charakter nicht. Zumindest glaube ich nicht, dass die da war. This is the top floor, so it must be heading for the roof. I climb to the landing and take the stairway 2 steps at a time before throwing open the door. But what I find there is not what one would expect to see on the roof of a building. Oder eventuell doch? Ich weiß gar nicht mehr. It is best described as a TV studio. The spotlights hang from the scaffolding, the cameras here and there. Up until now, no matter how warped things got, they still looked like part of a school, but not here. What is this place? Just then the door behind me slams open again, and a boy comes running out, breathing hard. It is Yosuke-san. I am perplexed. Why did he chase after us? There is no one here who would warrant leaving his friend Irise-san's side. Suddenly the area is shrouded in a menacing aura. The shadow appears. It is still carrying Laris over its shoulder. Laris shouldn't be unconscious, but she isn't showing any sign of resistance.
Persistent pests. Too bad for you. The Grand Prix is still on. Have fun wasting time fighting each other.
Hey, wait! Whoa.
As soon as Yosuke-san turns around to give chase, he runs up against something. I try stretching out my hand. Just as I thought, there's an invisible wall, though it wasn't here when I climbed up the stairs. The only door back into the school is the one beyond the wall. In other words, we are trapped. Yosuke-san hangs his head in shame and looks at me awkwardly.
I guess this means we have to fight. Sorry, I feel like I got in your way.
I came here without thinking and fell right into the enemy's trap. I'm sure that's what he's thinking. But as I see it, it isn't Yosuke-san who should be apologizing.
I am also sorry for all this.
Huh?
We are the ones ultimately responsible for this incident. I am sorry to have dragged you all into it. If your friends are safe, I would suggest you evacuate at once. But in these circumstances, I must go after her.
There's no need for you to take the blame. I mean, I feel the same about wanting to go after her.
Why? I'm not sure this concerns you.
I promised I'd protect her. But I couldn't back her up when she needed me the most. So, I want to apologize and actually keep my promise this time. I feel like I can't leave her alone right now.
Oops.
I think I should explain certain things to you.
In his eyes I could see a glimmer of
to disclose everything, but
solemnly. I've reviewed the important parts for him, that personas and shadows are universal, that they have existed since ancient times, and that there are probably little-known battles and pacts all over the world to harness their powers. That I have experienced one such battle and was in fact created for the purpose. I am a weapon given a heart in order to use a persona. I explained that Labrys was a prototype long sealed away that was lost during a recent incident. Yosuke-san doesn't seem to swallow all of it, but he listens attentively nonetheless.
There are shadows outside the TV too? Who would have thought?
I was surprised as well to find out that a world like this was accessible through televisions.
Believe me, we were pretty shocked last year too.
I looked straight into the boy's eyes without laughing at his attempt to lighten the mood. Only the winner can leave, so we must fight. There's no ignoring that cold fact. I suspect the shadow set this up to buy time. We don't have a moment to waste. I don't say anything, but Yosuke-san seems to get the picture.
Can you tell me something? what's going to happen to Labrys once you catch her?
I cannot answer that.
Yeah, I thought so. You did say that she was a weapon after all. Not really surprised you can't talk about it with outsiders.
Is that all? I must go get her back. If you cooperate with me, I am sure I can knock you out painlessly.
In response to my blunt suggestion, a wry smile appears on Yosuke-san's face. However, his eyes still have that gleam.
Sorry, but I can't back down.
Der Kampf ist neu, das ist richtig, ja.
Are you really going to fight me? Not to boast, but you would challenge a living weapon?
She said she wanted to be free. Hey, I made her a promise. I want to see it through. I guess you could say it's a guy pride thing?
He talks about it, but there is resolve behind his words. He will not back down from that resolve. What he is really saying is this. My feelings for Labrys are as strong as yours. I smile inwardly, though it does not show on my face.
I understand. I accept your challenge.
Okay.
Finals.
Up, up.
Stay down! Severe impact!
Mine! And stay down!
Cannon! Severe impact! Please go!
Just getting started!
Persona! Persona! I summon you! Athena!
Evaded.
Damage! Orgiamo! Bramble! Fire! Persona! Air!
Damage.
Heavy damage! Here! Maxim Bramble! Maxim Jam! No escape! Overheating! Cannon!
Damage.
Severe impact! Here I go! Athena! Anti-air! I summon you! Persona!
Don't think you've won yet!
I summon Strike! Heavy damage! Go!
Nein! Zack!
Going!
Oops.
I had
Das
a
Gesang
feeling I
smiles
didn't have a
cheaply
chance
usually.
against a pro like you. Ow. You sure are strong, Aige-san.
Are you all right?
Ich schau mal kurz was. Ich werde nach Persona 4 Arena mal den Stream kurz neu starten, weil ich will mal gucken, ob ich in einer höheren Auflösung streamen kann. Wäre ganz cool. Muss ich mal probieren. He waves his hand to show that he is fine. He should be exhausted. Perhaps the guy pride thing prevents him from admitting it.
Looks like I'll be staying behind.
I will do what I can to not force anything on my sister that she does not want.
Story von Computer Lady. Muss ich mal gucken. An sich. Weil die habe ich eigentlich schon gespielt. Ich weiß nicht, ob die dann abgebrochen oder halt mit einem Cliffhanger später erst weitergemacht werden konnte. Oder ob ich mit der fertig war. Muss ich mal schauen. Falls ich mit der ihrer Story schon fertig war, dann einfach am besten auf YouTube dann nachschauen. Das sind ja die ganzen Aufnahmen.
Can you tell her that I wanted to apologize to her too? Of course, I'll tell her myself once this is all over, but... Oh, and one more thing. Tell her we can have a party when this is all over.
Yosuke-san.
Sie ist nur schwarz.
Oh, you're invited too, of course.
Also nicht gut. Also auf meiner Seite, von meiner Seite aus ist alles okay, glaube ich. Ja. Twitch macht auch keine Probleme. My heart is warmed. He's not just worried about Labrys' safety, he's worried about her heart. I nod vigorously.
Yes, I will make sure to tell her. Though, we are not capable of eating food. Will that be a problem?
Huh? Really? Nah, it's no problem at all.
Thank you.
I will save Labrys from this world, from a call of solitude, cell of solitude. There are people in the outside world who accept us as allies. Some of them consider us friends. I'm happy that hope is so close by.
Be careful. That shadow looked pretty strong.
I will. Please stay safe.
As it cheers me on from behind, I leave the roof. As soon as I re-enter the school, I can sense the shadow's presence without needing to scan for it. I followed the presence back to the announcement room. What is waiting for me there this time? I slowly open the door, wary of an attack, but the room is quiet, no ambush comes. I open the door all the way and step inside. Both versions of Labrys await in the back of the room. I quickly step between the two, shielding Labrys from a shadow. But the shadow does not seem alarmed. It spins its axe idly.
You're late. I had a feeling you'd be the one to come. Was Yosuke-kun a tough opponent?
As it finishes the sentence, its axe stops. I brace myself in anticipation of an attack, but the shadow simply smiles brutally.
Just as you thought, the real party begins now!
Just as the words sink in, I hear sounds simultaneously. The heavy sound of the air being sliced behind me. I launch to the left solely on reflexes. Battle axe slams into the ground where I had been only milliseconds ago.
What? Sister!
Oh, so close.
Labrys takes a combat stance with her battle axe. There's a shocked expression in her wet eyes. She has chosen to fight for the Unreal School.
Is this what you really want? What else is there for me?
Labrys sounds resigned in her reply. I have no answer for her. My heart aches as if it was cut by a razor.
It's finally come to this. Sister versus sister. Let the battle begin!
The shadow cheers at me with delight. I do not have the presence of mind to deliver a rejoinder. The battle about to play out is straight from the worst case scenario I had envisioned. The very person I hoped to save, my sister. I must defeat her with my own hands. Interessant. Schön, dass bei der ihre Story recht viel Kampfzeug ist. Kommt man nicht so schnell aus der Übung.
Final. Fight.
Downward. Athena. Going. Cannon. Here. Attack. Downward. This'll finish. I summon you. Here I go. Attack. Dash. Dash. I failed. Dash. No. Light damage. I failed. Orgia mode. No. Light damage. Here I go. No. Light here. I summon you. Persona. Fire. Heavy damage. Severe impact. Light damage. No.
Oh, I guess.
Severe impact. Fire captain.
What?
No. Severe light damage. Over. Heavy damage. Severe impact. No. You will not run. Severe impact. Go strike. Charging. Now.
Fuck.
No. Going. Dash. Fire. Strike. Persona. Rise. Firing. Fire. Charging. Now.
Gut. Fuck.
Emergency. Here.
Gott. Weinfresse. So knapp. Ich mag Aiges' Kampfstil nicht wirklich. Labrys loses her strength and falls to her knees.
Why can't I stay like this?
The hope she risked so much to gain has been shattered, she mutters piteously as she falls. She's not the only one who wants to collapse. I never imagined this would be so painful. Every time my attacks connected, I felt as if I was tearing out a piece of my heart. This unwanted exchange of violence that will end in one of our destruction leads to nothing but despair. Each time I felt that pain, the memories of labyrinths I saw in the classroom, those vivid images made sense. The sterile, mechanical rooms that made up most of her visual memories. It must have been the facility where she was created. At that facility, Labrys was forced to endure the same pain she is feeling now. In order to gather combat data, she was forced to destroy her sister models, even though they had hearts. Not just once or twice, but over and over and over. It's too much for my mind to immediately comprehend. Agitation spreads through me like a fever. I clutch my chest.
I knew that you couldn't beat her.
The shadow in contrast is completely nonchalant.
But wow, you really didn't have any qualms about attacking her. Deep down, you must really want to make them suffer, don't you? You want them to go through what you had to. No! You want the everyday boys and girls to experience what you had to go through. Right? That's why we're in a school having a fighting tournament. You want to see close friends fight for their lives against each other. Because if they do that, then they might understand. You want to make them understand. That ain't true! But it was no use. Even another living weapon can't understand you. It's alright though. You don't have to worry about that anymore. I'll take care of everything from here. I'll destroy anyone who doesn't understand you and comes to get in your way. Just like you once did. Please stop! That's all a lie! You're not me!
Nein, jetzt hat sie gesagt.
Finally! You finally said it! I'm finally free!
Gut. The shadow's eyes start to glow full of life. It isn't just a change in its attitude, its power seems to actually be rising. Something in its conversation with Labrys catalyzed this change. Too late, it hits me. What did the shadow want with Labrys? It was trying to buy time, which meant it needed something from her.
It's time for the true star to take the stage.
Its shout shakes the air. As if in response to the cry, the room begins to warp. The view beyond the window shimmers ominously.
Yes.
Kennen wir das schon?
Power.
Ich glaube, das kannten wir schon, aber war ja nicht lang. A giant incinerator appears from the darkness. Countless chassis are falling in to be cruelly destroyed. Illuminated by the blood-red light of the flames, the shadow reveals its true self. The scene of Labrys and the giant beast chained behind it brings to mind the summoning of a persona. I run over to Labrys and stand her listless body up.
I won't be needing that trash anymore.
It seems that the shadow has accomplished its goal with Labrys. It was forced to fight my sister. For this purpose, I clench my teeth at my own slowness to comprehend.
Now, let's get started.
Sag's dann
Shall
weiter.
we?
Aber jetzt ist wieder gut, oder? Hoffe ich doch. This isn't just for Labrys. That is the enemy. The fate of anyone not human. Was? There is.
It seems that I must take responsibility for this.
Nochmal Kampf direkt. Ei. Okay, bei Eiges geht es. Bei Eiges geht es zack, zack, zack. Shadow Labrys.
Final. Fight.
Upward. Anti-damage. Severe impact. Fire. I summon you. Athena, here. Here I go. Going. Evaded. First, I summon you. I summon Persona. Rise up. This time. Strike. Here I go. Burn. Persona. Damage. This is gonna hurt. Here I go. I failed. Persona. Up here. Severe impact. Hammering.
But
Ow! I'm a
What?
simple break myself. Ow! Ready. Fire. Evaded. Fire. Charging. Now. Someday.
good. The monster's form melts away as it disperses like fog. Only a silhouette similar to Labrys remains. It falls to its knees, having no will to resist anymore.
I somehow pulled through.
I turn to face the real Labrys.
Are you all right?
She's conscious and seems to have no major damage. All that remains to be tested is her will.
Please listen. I have a message for you. From Yosuke-san. He said that he is sorry for promising to help you and being unable to support you when you needed it most. Additionally, he said that he would be throwing a party later. You are invited, of course.
You're lying.
If that is what you think, you can ask him yourself later. Now please, stand up.
I lend her my shoulder and prop her up. She follows my lead, but her legs are still shaking.
How come this happened? I didn't want to hurt anyone or make them suffer.
I know. That was a shadow going berserk. Not everything it said reflects your true feelings. I had a similar experience, actually. My other self was on the verge of going berserk.
Ich habe gedacht,
It
das
told
wäre
me
genau
there
das,
was an
was
innate
bei
contradiction in having a heart, but not being human,
Shadows ist.
preventing me from truly protecting others.
Dass die genau das
Wasn't that
sagen,
tough
was
to
die anderen
listen
nicht
to?
unbedingt sagen wollen.
Yes,
Aber
of
was halt
course.
trotzdem wahr ist.
Then how can you stand it? How are you still acting like everything's fine?
I'm fine right now, but I'm sure I will suffer that pain again someday. Very probably, as long as I am myself, it will never go away as long as I live.
It won't? Then what can I do but give up? What am I supposed to do?
We'll be all right, as long as we have friends.
Labras opens her eyes wide.
It was when you were alone that you suffered most. I'm sure of it. If you do not give up on reaching out to others, you will surely find someone who understands.
Hello, creepy butter.
Or maybe...
As I say this, I can hear voices from outside. They are calling our names. The voices grow closer and closer, and eventually one of the doors flies open.
Hey, there you are! Thank goodness!
Are you two okay?
You seem to have the matter in hand.
Kanchi-san and Risa-san arrive shortly after. Was ist denn eigentlich mit Yu? Warum ist der gar nicht da? Now that the shadow has been defeated, the invisible walls trapping them have disappeared. There are some faces new to me as well. As I recall from the video, they are Yu Narukami-san. Ah, doch, ist auch dabei. And Yukiko Amagi-san. There was also a costume that looks like General Teddy. This must be the real Teddy that Chie-san mentioned. The resemblance is strong, but this one is so charming that it is hard to hate him. Everyone has considerate words for Labras. My heart is filled with warmth. They could have ignored us outsiders and escaped, but they didn't. They were truly worried about us and came running. Hat das Spiel irgendjemand Korrektur gelesen? Da sind so viele Rechtschreibfehler drin. Mann. All of them. I address Labras, who is looking back and forth between me and them with a perplexed look.
It might be more accurate to say that those who understand you are already here. Of course, I want to understand you as well. Please talk to me whenever you want. Tell me about your memories, even if you have to take them one at a time.
Besonders halt bei einem Spiel, das hauptsächlich durch Geschriebenes erzählt wird. Da sollte man doch nochmal extra sicher gehen, dass alles richtig geschrieben ist und so weiter. Labras sinks deep in thought, then looks at me again. I nod silently. She slowly starts walking and stops in front of the shadow, who stands as quiet as a real shadow, at the other end of the room.
You were right. I was always alone, so I had no one to talk to, no matter how much it hurt. And I went and blamed that on them.
Kennen wir das schon?
I'm sorry
Ja.
I ignored you all this time. I was the one who left you all alone.
Ja, das kennen wir schon.
This reminds me of us from last year.
Yeah, it's the same thing. She's really no different from us.
Yasuke-san and the others laugh. To acknowledge one's weakness in front of others. They must have earned their personas through the same ordeal. I can see now why their bond is so strong. The tension in the air evaporates. Just as Labrys's expression softens, a familiar voice comes from behind.
Is that Labrys?
Everyone turns to look at the newcomer.
Mitsuru-san, Akihiko-san, you're all right.
Of course we are.
I run toward them. Neither of them appear to be injured. I notice that Yosuke-san and the others are not surprised to see them. They must already be aware of the situation, though they react to their arrival differently.
Who are these people and what the hell are they wearing?
Oh man, a dude storming across the battlefield in just a cape? I am all about that.
I'd say you've got good taste.
Seriously?
Labrys grabs weakly at my arm.
Don't worry.
I smile and nod. She still bites her lip in anxiety, but she's no longer afraid of everything.
You're Labrys, correct?
Labrys simply nods in response to Mitsuru-san's question as she walks up. There's a moment of silence. Mitsuru-san's sigh of relief breaks it.
I'm glad you're safe.
Kann ich die Bitrate direkt ändern? Moment, ich schau mal kurz. Ich probiere mal kurz was. Tatsächlich. Falls irgendwas mit dem Stream jetzt gleich komisch ist oder gerade eben komisch oder sonst was, bitte mal sagen. Ich probiere gerade mal kurz was rum. Okay, das ist nicht so gut. Okay, ist auch nicht so gut. Na, gerade eben warst du. Okay, jetzt eventuell. Nicht ganz. Okay. Ich hoffe, jetzt ist auch noch ganz gut oder wieder ganz gut. Sieht ganz okay aus, denke ich mal. Dann kann ich gleich nach Dings mal probieren. Ein bisschen höhere Qualität zu streamen. Keine Probleme, wunderbar. Labrys smiles back awkwardly. The look on her face helps dispel the tension in Yosuke-san and his friends. Mitsuru-san notices this as well. I step forward alongside Mitsuru-san to introduce ourselves and show our appreciation. It seems they have never met a Persona user who didn't awaken in the TV world. We spent some time discussing our respective circumstances. Okay. Teddy leads us back to the roof. They say that this was the place they used to enter and exit this world. Labrys, who still doesn't quite understand that she is in the TV, cocks her head in bewilderment. Yosuke-san and his friends gather around her and explain everything. She is shocked at first, but as she grows accustomed to the idea, she begins laughing. Relieved, I leave Labrys to them. I approach Mitsuru-san and Akiko-san. I relay to them all the information I have gathered on this case so far. I tell them that the tournament's host was Labrys' shadow, which had emerged from her, and that Labrys may have not been stolen, but that she may have escaped on her own. She has the ability to manipulate people's senses. That will explain the signs of mental interference found on the hijackers. We were able to discover Inaba through our research. Perhaps she used the same methods. It would have taken time, but she was sealed away for over 10 years. Although she was caged, it is not clear whether she was conscious or not during that period. She had more than enough time. Mitsuru-san and Akiko-san show no surprise, but they do let out a long sigh. In contrast to Mitsuru-san, who is lost in thought, Akiko-san goes to get an answer straight from the source. Labrys startles when he taps her shoulder.
So when did you actually awaken?
Akiko-san's question is blunt, but Labrys handles it calmly, knowing that it is the natural thing to ask.
You know, I can't remember.
She's being honest. She had used her ability on herself, not even she knew what she really was. But Akiko-san seems skeptical. Having no memory of it also means that she is unable to deny it.
Please, Mitsuru-san, can you be lenient with her?
Mitsuru-san folds her arms and thinks. I know she's in a difficult position. Though Labrys may have a heart, that does not make her human. She's a weapon with dangerous capabilities. Mitsuru-san cannot decide based on her personality alone what measures to take. Especially now that we are affiliated with the police. We have our reputation to consider.
Yeah, would you, please?
Yosuke-kun.
I know I'm asking without knowing the whole story here, but please don't lock her up again.
Even his friends seem surprised by his outburst, but soon enough they are all giving Mitsuru-san the same pleading look. Mitsuru-san winces before giving a wry smile.
Well, I hadn't intended to seal her away again to begin with.
Mitsuru-san!
Seriously? Did you hear that?
It should be a walk in the park compared to the challenge of sending Aigis to school.
She has no intention of locking her away. The smile on Mitsuru-san's face confirms that much.
Thank you so much.
How about if we go outside? This isn't really the place to stand around and chat.
Yeah. Well, it was a hell of a way to start off a holiday, but at least it's over. Man, why'd that shadow have to pick our school and us of all people?
Mitsuru-san and Akiko-san freezes.
You know, that is odd now that you mention it.
Freeze money.
I was told this place takes its shape from a person's memories. Why would it become this high school?
I had picked up on that incongruity as well. Putting aside that Inaba was chosen as the escape destination, why was a specific school so carefully recreated? I also have my doubts about Labrys' power. Strictly speaking, it doesn't rob one's sanity. What her power really does is cloud one's senses with illusions. I'm not sure that would have been enough to control those hijackers so completely.
Hey, Labrys.
Akiko-san calls out to Labrys again. The instant he puts his hand on her shoulder, she suddenly twitches.
Hey, what's the matter?
Labrys abruptly leaps backwards. Everyone is baffled to see her white body flying over their heads.
She's...
Stay back, everyone!
Hat man das beim letzten Mal auch schon? Akiko-san is the first to realize the danger and yells a warning to the others.
Sister?
Ja, doch. Doch hat man. Labrys stands there motionlessly. Slowly, her right hand reaches for the battle axe on her back. Tension fills the air.
No! Why?
The blade of the axe is pointed towards me. I do not comprehend. What's going on? As I stand there confused, Labrys lowers her stance, readying herself for battle. I open my mouth to try to persuade her, but I can't. There's no time. Labrys now has the use of her persona. She will be stronger than before. If I don't focus on counter-attacking, I lose. I clench my jaw and hold in the despair that threatens to overwhelm me. I must concentrate on the problem at hand. There.
Final. Fight.
Here I go.
Hey! Hey!
Heavy
Hey!
damage. No! Light damage. Here I go. Go upward. I press the motor system. No!
That.
No!
That!
Now some damage. Severe impact. No! Ready. Please hit. Fire. Severe impact. Light damage. Going. Strike. That was heavy damage. Severe impact. No! Severe impact. Light damage. Here I go. Heavy damage. No! Light damage. Shot. I can't.
Okay. Dass man das nicht gleich nochmal probieren kann.
Game over.
Geht over!
Welcome to the Velvet Room.
Na, mit
This
Labrys
place
waren wir
exists
fertig.
Between dream and reality, mind and
Mit der Story
magic.
von Labrys
Now,
waren wir fertig.
why
Also
don't
die
you
müsstest du
introduce
dann auf
yourself?
YouTube nachschauen.
Very well.
Aber die ging gar nicht bis zu dem Punkt jetzt. Das war eine extrem lange Vorgeschichte von ihr. Und an dem Punkt, wo sie dann in der Schule, also in dem Bereich hier jetzt, aufgewacht ist und so weiter, hat's dann geendet. Also das ganze Zeug hier aus ihrer Sicht gibt's gar nicht. Außer es kommt irgendwie irgendwann nochmal. Alter!
Damage. Persona, here I go. Here, cannon. Heavy damage. Severe impact. No.
Kurzfassung von dem Spiel. Labrys ist eine Waffe, die entwickelt wurde. Und um sie stärker zu machen und so weiter,
Welcome to the Velvet Room.
I wish you good luck.
musste sie gegen andere Waffen kämpfen, die so waren wie sie. Irgendwann ist sie dann ausgebrochen aus dem Ganzen, aus dem Laborzeug und ist dann wurde dann anscheinend entführt, irgendwie auch. Geil. Wer sie entführt hat und wie die hier reingekommen ist, ganz genau und so weiter, das wissen wir noch nicht. Alter. Und ja, die ganzen Charaktere, also sehr viele Charaktere hier in dem Spiel sind aus dem Original Persona 4 Spiel, was im Endeffekt ein JRPG Spiel ist. Also nicht so ein 2D-Kampfspiel. sondern ein Rollenspiel.
Welcome to the
Und
Velvet.
I wish you good luck.
ja, die müssen gegeneinander kämpfen und den Rest müsstest du dann heute so gesehen haben. Ne, Quatsch, du bist ein bisschen später gekommen, glaube ich. Also so im Großen und Ganzen gibt es eigentlich gar nicht so viel zu erzählen. Ja, hin und wieder kommt mal so ein Kampfzeug, aber extrem selten irgendwie. Also es ist um einiges mehr Story als Gameplay. Und dementsprechend kann man halt, wenn man nur den Story-Modus spielt, kaum trainieren mit den entsprechenden Charakteren. Also wir sind jetzt schon einige Zeit zum Beispiel in der Story von Aegis, und das hier ist jetzt gerade mal, Moment, ich glaube der 9., der achte Kampf innerhalb von der kompletten Story.
Severe impact. No! Heavy damage. No! I'm simply firing. Go down. My up heavy damage. Ready. Fire. Here I go. Here I go. Guarding. That was close. Go down. Fire. Fire. Severe impact. No! Strike. Going. Heavy damage. No! Severe impact. Light here. I summon you. This will finish it. Back. Global functions shutting down.
Und allgemein, der Kampfstil von Aegis ist einer der Kampfstile, mit denen ich nicht wirklich klarkomme. Deswegen bin ich mit ihr halt auch nicht wirklich sehr gut. Und allgemein, 2D-Kampfspiele spiele ich ganz gerne, aber bin ich nicht so extrem ganz wirklich gut drin.
Final. Fight.
No! Going! Persona! Persona! No! Severe impact! Persona! Heavy damage! No! No! Some damage spire! And Severe impact! No! Heavy damage! No!
Diese scheiß Combo von der.
Light damage! Severe impact! No! Severe impact! Severe motor functions shutting down!
Anscheinend ja. Anscheinend in dem Universum ist es wohl so.
Game over.
Game over.
Welcome to the Velvet.
Very well.
Final. Fight.
Okay, der andere Modus von hier ist um einiges besser.
Over. Severe impact. Light damage. Please hit. Fire. This will finish it. Burn, here I go. Severe impact. I failed. No.
Alright.
Impact. Severe impact. Some charging.
What?
Now.
Fail!
Ignite. Orgia mode. Maximum attack. Fire. Evaded. As predicted. Severe impact. Heavy damage. Light damage. No. I got it.
Komm.
Severe impact. No. No.
Ernsthaft?
Attack.
Ah, das war ich. Ah, cool. Gut. Wenn man auch mal ein bisschen was rumprobiert, schafft man es auch irgendwann. Labris falls to the ground with a thud.
Labris,
I try to run to her, but I stop when I hear an unearthly voice.
you succeeded in repulsing it yet again. Very unexpected.
Everyone takes a defensive stance and looks around.
What is this? I'm not getting a good feeling about this.
It's certainly an ominous presence. That voice.
Is that my voice?
Hmm? Yes, it is. Before I can react, an unnatural-looking shadow, a clump of darkness thick as a pool of blood, forms next to Labris. Our true enemy rises up from the sludge. Okay, das ist neu. It is a sight I will never forget.
No. Agisan's shadow?
To think you'd fight back this fiercely.
But
No wonder you once drove back a god. Yes, I want them even more now.
Want them? What does that mean?
Yaske-san lashes out at the enemy, but it ignores him and continues talking.
Sadly, it seems things won't be going according to plan this time. But I'll make use of what tools I have to the very end. This is my last chance. No, more like a marvelous entertainment. Entertainment?
Instead of answering it, it raises its right hand over her.
Stand, my puppet.
Labris stands up as if being pulled by strings.
Is it controlling her?
Sister!
She doesn't answer. Her face is a blank stare and her shoulders hang unnaturally. She's every inch its puppet. Confused, I look again at the enemy. Is that my shadow? It looks like me, but its voice, its powers, they are all so different from mine. But before I can come to a conclusion, the enemy uses Labris to make its next move.
This form is exhausted from constant battle and will be useless as an asset. But unless you destroy it, it will keep rising up and attacking you all. What will you do?
With the battle axe in hand, Labris dashes forward without warning. Her attack is much more forceful than in the last battle. Even with all my strength, I am being pushed back.
Oh crap, if this keeps up...
Ja, warum machen die anderen eigentlich nichts?
Wait, don't interfere!
Ja.
Please!
Oh, okay. I clench my teeth. Labris is under that thing's control and ignoring her own limits. And she's already damaged and exhausted from the previous battle. If we all attack, we might be able to contain her, but she could be destroyed in the process.
Now, may you suffer and curse your fate. Relinquish your personas.
Relinquish?
Personas and shadows are one and the same. If I poison your hearts, I can recruit shadows with unparalleled strength.
Wait, what? You mean turn our personas back to shadows?
The heart is frail. Its weaknesses are never fully vanquished. Given the opportunity, it can betray you and return to darkness. Old wounds that you thought you had overcome, opened once again. You almost let go of your hearts, your personas. This one's desire to make people suffer was perfectly suited for such a plan.
Plan?
You caused all this to gather strong shadows?
You bastard! Who are you?
You had best hurry and decide. Who will be destroyed? This shell, or the lot of you?
Labrys flies through the air again and unleashes a full force attack. I'm forced to one knee if she attacks again, but just when I'm sure it's over, something happens.
Sorry, but this show is over.
I see Mitsuru-san stand straight up out of the corner of my eye. Suddenly, the menacing aura surrounding Labrys is dispelled like magic.
What?
For the first time, the enemy seems shocked. Freed from the spell, Labrys falls to the ground. Warum hat die das nicht vorher schon gemacht? I run to her and cradle her in my arms. What was that? Mitsuru-san smiles defiantly and glances up to the sky.
Looks like you made it in the nick of time.
Ma'am?
You saved us, Yamagishi.
Yamagishi, what? An answering voice echoes in my head. That soft but extremely reassuring voice.
Are you all okay?
Wer ist das denn jetzt?
Fuka-san?
Ist das Gott? Fuka Yamagishi-san. She's a fellow ally who helped us overcome the challenges we faced in the past. I cannot help but smile with surprise and joy.
So you had a third assistant.
Ooh, what a soothing voice! My teddy senses are telling me that this is a real cutie pie!
Is this like Rise-chan's persona? Wait, where is she? This feeling. What the?
Müssen wir jetzt Persona 3 kennen? Vielleicht? Rise-san opens her eyes and looks up.
That voice. It's not coming from in here. Whoever it
Support
is
us,
out
Persona
there.
3. Okay.
Seriously? She can use hers in the real world? That's amazing.
Even before I can ask, Fuka-san tells me what I want to know.
I guess the enemy is just mimicking your appearance. It's not actually a part of you.
Habe ich mir schon
Impressive
gedacht.
to guess correctly from such a long distance away.
Mitsuru-san stares at the enemy in shock. We hear Fuka-san's words as if she is speaking, but technically there's no sound. She transmits her voice directly into people's minds. Other people should hear nothing. Yet the enemy is responding to her. I raise my guard in spite of myself, but there's no fear in me. My doubts about the enemy, my hesitation, are gone. Betsy, level 8, nice. My heart starts to burn. What is this? I've never felt this heated emotion before that's running through my body.
You must be the one behind all this. You stole Labrys and threw her into a TV. You were after Persona users from the start. That's why you chose this school and tampered with Labrys' memories. And you just demonstrated how you controlled those hijackers.
So this must be the real puppet master.
Then, that voice who tried to dissuade me back in that classroom.
Eingefroren.
You're quite slow for a machine.
Nicht gut.
Can't you tell by looking at me who that was?
So that wasn't something my heart saw, but just a malicious whisper. The fire in my heart is stoked higher and I make a fist without realizing it. I thought this entire incident was just an unfortunate event, meine ich, caused by my sister's suffering. But the pain was all orchestrated by someone. This isn't a tragedy. Someone saw to it that this would happen. And not just to Labrys. Whoever did this tried to manipulate the pain in my heart too, by posing as my shadow. And to top it off, the culprit posed as everyone here to make them distrust each other. My reopening old wounds. This was all an evil plan. I am not human, but because of that I hold the hearts and bonds of others to be sacred. They saved me, and they keep me going now. And yet it tested those bonds and used our anguish for its own purpose. Our hearts were nothing but tools to it, tools to hurt others. I see, I get it now. This roiling, violent surge of emotion, this shaking, burning, erupting sensation. I realized that this is a type of emotion which can best be described in a single word. This is fury!
Are you angry? All right, I'll play along. The show must go on, right?
You've gone too far.
Okay. Kampf gegen meinen eigenen Schatten. Oder halt gegen das Ding, das aussieht wie mein Schatten. Ja. Okay. Nach dem Kampf machen wir erstmal. Das ist natürlich super, gegen jemanden zu kämpfen mit dem gleichen Moveset wie ich, der das Zeug besser drauf hat als ich. Ah! Ah, cool. Auch nicht schlecht. Okay. Ich lasse euch mal ein bisschen hängen mit der Story. Einen kleinen Cliffhanger. Und dann beim nächsten Mal weiter. Laugt ein bisschen aus, das Spiel irgendwie. Morpig! Earthman! Vielen Dank fürs Folgen. Vielen Dank.